Hey guys, this is BishReviews and welcome to my channel. And today I'm back with another Disney Princess Deluxe Picture Book Collection Storybook. So yeah, before I begin with this review today, I just want to mention that most of the books from this series have been reviewed. So if you have not checked them out, please go to my channel and check them. So yeah, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Disney Princess Mulan, the story of Mulan. So yeah, I've always been a very big fan of Disney princesses, and Mulan being a Disney princess, I always had her space in my heart between the Disney princesses. So yeah, without wasting any more time, let us begin with this review. So, like every other book from this series, this book also has the same kind of pattern. So this book is kind of blue, and it has a very nice patterns in the background, as you can see. And there's Mulan on this side showing her kung fu style in her girly dress. So on top here it says Disney Princess Mulan, and there's a dragon in the middle, and it says the story of Mulan. So on the spine of the book, as you can see, it says Disney Princess, there's a dragon, and it says Mulan, the story of Mulan, and it says Disney Press. So at the back of the book, as you can see, the patterns really clearly this time, and there's also a darker border on the right side this time. There is a darker line in the front as well, but because Mulan is standing over there, it's hardly visible. So on top here it says Disney Princess, and there's a bigger dragon this time, and down here we have Mulan on her horse, and it says the flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. So it's by the Emperor. So it's not by Mulan. So before I turn in the pages, I want to mention that just like in the Pocahontas book, Mulan has the older classic illustrations as well. So the front and the back new illustrations are just an illusion. So yeah, let us open the book and have a better look on the inside. So on the very first page we have Mulan, and it says Disney Princess Mulan, the Dragon, and the Story of Mulan. So on this side we have sparkles, and it says be a leader, and there's a Japanese or a Chinese flower, and it says copyright 2016 Disney Enterprises Inc. All rights reserved. So yeah, if you want to read the story, please pause the video because I would be focusing more on the illustrations, the quality, and the pages. So yeah, the page is kind of medium thick. It's not that thick like the deluxe book glossy pages, or really thin like the classic storybook that used to come. That was by the Fantastic ones. So yeah, here is the evil warrior Shan Yu, the emperor, and the war had begun. So this illustration really matched the movie. I really am glad that they matched the movie, but I wish they were in the deluxe version. It would have looked so much better with the shadows and the depth and the vibrance. So yeah, these pages are not glossy, so they are the matte ones, but the thickness is really fine, I would say. So here's Mulan fetching her father a cup of tea, and she's kind of clumsy as a girl. And yeah, the one thing I've learned from this movie is it was a really nice touch in the movie, is like how in the older times the women were not paid that much attention, and they were just kept for households and marriage and stuff like that. And men really, it was a really male dominated society, and that's what this movie shows. And I really like how Mulan comes through it and just proves women's are worth everything. So here's Mulan, who had to meet the matchmaker lady, I guess. So she gets ready, and there she is. She looks kind of ghostly with the makeup and stuff. And here's her grandma, who is very superstitious, but it's really nice. She really loves her granddaughter. So here is Mulan trying to impress the matchmaker, but the matchmaker is kind of ruined by Mulan. So if you have watched the movie, you would definitely say that these match the movie really well. And here's the matchmaker lady is very angry and saying Mulan has no hope for a husband in the future. So here's Mulan really sad that she has disappointed her family. But her father is really, good-hearted, and he wants to, console Mulan that it's okay. So since the war has begun, a single male from each family had to serve the king. So in Mulan's family, her dad was only the male, and they had no son. So yeah, he was kind of injured. He was one of the legendary warriors before, and he was kind of injured, so he has a stick. They show how Mulan tries to stop her father, but how being a male-dominated society, how he says that this is disrespectful, and Mulan's father also shuts down Mulan, saying that you need to go in. So, and you have embarrassed me in front of everyone. So here's Mulan devastated, and she has to protect her father, and so she cuts off her hair, becomes a man, a son from her family, and she goes to battle. She kind of looks like a man. So it was a really nice and inspiring scene. So over here, ancestors are woken up when Mulan goes to pray, and they ask this dragon, whose name is Mushu, I guess, that to rise the guardian dragon, but he kind of fails it and kind of breaks the statue, and he pretends to be the dragon and goes to rescue Mulan. But instead, he wants to prove that Mulan is worth it, and it was his training and stuff like that. So here's Mulan on her way, and here she meets the other warriors for the first time, and she kind of is creating disaster everywhere. And here's the son of General, I think, General Li. His name is Shang, I guess. Shang. I kind of forgot his full name though. Shifu, Shang, and something. It's really interesting Chinese names. So here's Mulan creating a dispute and disaster outside, and that's when the captain comes out, Shang, and checks everyone out and asks Mulan who is she, and she says her name is Ping. And yeah, he is kind of he's kind of shocked, because Fu was one of the greatest warrior, and yeah, their training began, and they had to pick that arrow up with the two weight on their arms. So the illustrations are really fine itself, but I really wish they were in the deluxe version, because this scene would have looked so much better, with the depths and a little bit more detail and complete, I would say. And even these kind of scenes look better in the deluxe books. So here's the captain, very disappointed and very hopeless for the training warriors. So here's Mulan, very angry that she was sent back home and she cannot disappoint her family. So she uses her tactics and goes up and picks up the bow and impresses the captain. So back in the village where the ruthless Shan Yu finds, his falcon brings in a doll from a nearby village. If you have watched the movie, this doll belongs to a little kid, which Mulan's written it to her. So it's kind of relatable. So he kind of goes to that village to destroy it. So here's Mulan taking a bath, but other guys join in, so she has to escape. This scene would have looked so much better as well. Just look at this scene. It already looks fantastic. It would have looked so much better in the deluxe version. They did decide not to go for the war, but this dragon was determined, so he kind of prepares a letter from the general and gives it to the chief or something, and then they go back. But they find out that everything has been destroyed, everything has been killed, and even the general has been killed. So they had to protect the emperor. And I don't know, something happened over here, and I think it was the dragon's fire that let out their rocket and showed them where the location was, and the arrow rain starts to fall off on them. There, everyone is fighting. And it kind of looked hopeless because their warriors were very less compared to the enemy's warriors. And there Mulan had an idea, so she rockets the firecracker or the rocket to the mountain so that it would fall down and kill everyone. And that's when everything falls to place, and the captain, and Mulan and everyone falls into the snow, but they are saved by the other people. So these are the only warriors remained, all the others died, I assume, because they are nowhere to be seen later. So yeah, Mulan was kind of hurt when the villain chopped her with his sword, and that's when they find out. And for the betrayal, the penalty is to be beheaded and killed, I think. So since she had saved the captain's life, captain spares hers, and they are equal now. So that's when Mulan is left alone and she decides to go home, but she kind of figures out that the villain has remained. So to warn the captain and all these other soldiers, Mulan goes to the village. I mean, look at this scene. I mean, this scene also matches the movie, and it kind of would have looked so much better if these were in the deluxe version. So as the captain was presenting the emperor with the Shan Yu's sword, the falcon of Shan Yu flies down and gives him his sword back. So that's when everyone believes Mulan and they need to trust Mulan. So they climb up the palace pillars and goes in and save the emperor, and the villain is really angry. It's because of her that his whole soldiers fell off. So Mulan had a plan. A dragon rockets Shan Yu, and Shan Yu takes off to another rocket tower, and then he blasts off and dies, I think. The body has not been shown. And at the end, she had saved all the people. So everyone bows down to her. So it also shows how it's a male-dominant society it was, and Mulan proving it kind of touched my heart from this movie. So yeah, this scene kind of looks really bland, but it would have looked so much better in the deluxe version. So the emperor gives her the pendant and the sword for the victory, and she returns home and presents the gifts from the emperor to her father. And this scene is kind of funny as well. Her grandma says, like, you know, she brought this and this, I wish she had brought a man. And that's when the captain walks in, and you know, she asks her, would you like to stay for dinner? And her grandma asks, would you like to stay forever? Kind of made me giggle out there. So here's the ancestor enjoying with the dragon, and I think they lived happily ever after. So yeah, that ends the story. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching this movie. I mean, I really regret not watching it sooner. So yeah, if you have any questions, hit the comment section below. Please do like and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. So I still have more book reviews coming. So until then, stay tuned, and thank you so much for watching.